Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. Today we're talking about First Timothy chapter 5. In this chapter, Paul is writing to Timothy. So in this chapter, Paul is giving him some more instructions. And just today, I just wanted to look at like the first two verses because I thought there's a lot to say about that. So I'll just read them to you. First Timothy 5, 1 and 2 says, "Do not rebuke an older man, but encourage him as you would a father, younger men as brothers, older women as mothers, younger women as sisters, in all purity." So, in the first part of this particular chapter, Paul is talking about treating others with respect. Now, yesterday at Bible study, we talked about the word command. Pardon me. In 4 verse 11, Paul tells Timothy to go and command and teach these things. And we talked about how with the word command, there's a sense of authority that is like Paul is giving Timothy. He says, you have authority to teach these things, not just to teach them, not just to say, hey guys, this is a pretty good idea, but actually to go command people to do these things. If they're a brother or sister in Christ, go and do these things. Now, we talked about how that would be perceived in our culture if somebody commanded you to do something. If somebody said, hey, you need to stop sinning and you need to be doing more of this, and maybe there's a degree of place for that, and maybe that doesn't really fit our culture to be commanded. Maybe that builds more walls. That was something we discussed and we talked about, and something we all need to kind of think about maybe a little more. But that being said, he says to command and teach these things, but then he gets like just a few sentences later, and he says, when you're talking to these people, to these older men and younger men and older women and younger women than you, to not rebuke them. And rebuke essentially is like this, what did I write here? Like express sharp disapproval or criticism. So to rebuke somebody is to criticize them harshly or something like that. And Paul doesn't want Timothy to do that. Paul doesn't want Timothy to come across in a way that is offensive the right word? I don't even know if offensive is the right word. Too harshly, right? Like that's not the goal, is to come across harshly, which is kind of funny, kind of from Paul, who's a little harsh himself at times. But and he's also commenting on Timothy's age, right? He's saying, as a young guy, right, don't let anybody look down on you because you're young. But then he gets to the spot. Instead of rebuking an older man, right, this sharp criticism, as you're teaching these things and commanding them to do these things, he says, treat them, encourage them like you would a father. So the way that the son would show respect to his father and honor to his father, that's the way you should talk to all older men. And he doesn't stop there. He says, and younger men, talk to them like they're your brothers, right? Like this is your flesh and blood. You love them and you care for them, and so you want to encourage them and challenge them and bring them along with you. You wouldn't be rude and harsh with your brother. And then the part there, it says, and treat older women as mothers. Right, again, you treat your mother with honor and respect and dignity, and that's good. So then the younger women as sisters, and he adds there, in all purity. In other words, your conduct and speech is righteous and pure and good, and there's not faults to be found in it. Interesting concept, interesting way to go. But let's be honest, as I read that, and I thought, man, how do we do these things? How do you interact with your parents? How do you interact with your siblings? Are you harsh? Or do you rebuke your parents sometimes when they don't do something a certain way that you like it to be a certain way? How's all this school stuff been going as you're trying to adjust? Are you a little testier than usual because, the situation's awkward and everybody's tensions are a little higher? How are you with your brothers and sisters when they don't share something with you or they get into your stuff? Or you guys don't, are you harsh with them? Are you critical of them? Because it's funny that he says, don't be this way. Instead, be this way, the same way you would be to your mom and dad and your brothers and sisters. So maybe it's a cultural thing, but I think there's a lot more tension sometimes in a home. We're comfortable with the people we love and we're almost harsher with them and more critical of them. So it was kind of, as I was reading this passage, I paused there and I thought, wow, what a charge to us, especially as you live in tight quarters with your family right now. Think about how you treat your family, the ways that you rebuke them or criticize them. That shouldn't be. You should be gentle, respectful, honoring your parents. These are things that are really important biblical commands for us that we need to be following. So I want you to really consider this week, as you interact with your parents, as you interact with your brothers and sisters, as your tensions get higher, don't treat them with disrespect and dishonor. Treat them with the respect and the honor that they deserve because they're part of your family. And then think about how that should enable you to respond to others. Because if you can treat your own family well, you're going to be able to treat strangers well. Anyway, that's all the thoughts I have for now. We'll be back with another video and of course, talk to you on Friday for some more games. Love you guys. See you later.